Hi guys, I just thought I would do a little video on some book recommendations for beginners or people that are trying to sort of dig a little bit deeper into the path as well. I'm just going to share some books quickly as possible, talk about the books as well, give you some insight on them, maybe help you understand what books to read, and maybe give you some inspiration as well. So I'm going to kick it off with the beloved Cunningham, Wicca, A Guide for the Solitary Practitioner. This is probably the main book that I used starting out because it's so full of great information. The way he writes the book as well, it's so heartwarming, it's so welcoming. It's like, you know, he doesn't write it in the way saying to you that you have to follow what he's saying. You can adapt what he's given you and make your own path out of it, and that's what I've done. And that's why I love this book so much. It's got so much in it. You can learn a lot from it. It's amazing for beginners. Honestly, if you're not sure where to start, I would recommend Scott Cunningham. He's done a lot of books, and I've got a few more of his books today that I'm going to recommend. But definitely get this if you're wanting to start out in Wicca, and whatnot. Then I'm going to recommend as well the sequel to that one, or the second book, so to speak, after that book, which is Living Wicca, A Guide for the Solitary Practitioner. And this again is amazing for beginners. It's about integrating the craft and your path into your everyday life, and also, you know, it's got prayers in there. It's got you've got symbols and stuff. It's just got loads of information in it. I think is valuable, and it's just a great way to sort of expand upon the path that you're on. So, Living Wicca, Scott Cunningham. The next book is another author who is absolutely brilliant when you want to start out as well. And this is again a two book series. There's In the Circle by Elen Hawke, and this is the first book in the series. Again, this is crafting the witch's path. This is kind of like the beginning of being on the path as well. Now her books, these books specifically, are written, the rituals in them are written for a coven, and I think these are great if you formed a coven with some friends or some close, some people you're close to that are interested in the same thing, and it's great for sort of adapting that coven lifestyle into rituals, and getting into that sort of community aspect of the craft as well. There's a lot of information in here as well about chakras, the moon, Sabbats and Esbats, and so on. And then she expands on that in the second book, which is called The Sacred Round, and this is by Elen Hawke, by the way, just in case anyone didn't hear me the first time. This is about enhancing your practice. It's about, again, digging deeper. I love this book because there's a lot of information in here that I'll look into if I want to, like, I want to sort of reboot my mind on what I can do for a Sabbat and an Esbat, or what specific Sabbat I can celebrate in different ways, or I want to get some more inspiration for the Sabbat. So I like to change it up every year. So the next author, he is, and this one is for my LGBT witches that are watching. This author is, again, he's well loved amongst the pagan community and the witch community, Christopher Penczak, Gay Witchcraft. I'm rereading this at the moment because it's one of my favourite books that I've ever come across about the craft, because this is all about integrating your sexuality and your identity as well, and just who you are, into your craft, and kind of embracing that in a spiritual sense. And that's why I love this book. It really does get you into that, and it covers a lot. It covers history, it covers practice, it covers how gods and goddesses can relate to you and your in your sexuality and your identity and whatnot. And I just love it. It's so enriching. It's just so, yeah. I can't stress how much this book has been helpful. So yeah, Christopher Penczak. He's done a lot of other books as well, so I recommend looking into what else he's written as well. I do plan to do that at one point, getting more of his books. It's the only book I've got by him. And just as a helper, his second name is Penczak. There's a C after the pen. The next book I'm going to recommend is for people that, so if you're at the point where you kind of want to continue doing the magic and spells and whatnot, and you want to dig a little bit deeper into the fundamentals of magic and what might work for you, and you know, exploring the different horizons, so to speak. This is Spellcaster, 7 Ways to Effective Magic, and it's by Martin Duffy, Anna Franklin, Poppy Parlin, Morgana Siderhaven, and Leah White Horse. Several authors made this book. Just type in Spellcaster and then Elen Hawke, because she actually published this, I think. Yeah. Yeah, she was a part of the book, this book's production. So you just type in Elen Hawke Spellcaster, you'll find this book. Honestly, I cannot stress how much information you get from this, and how much you can just really pull from it and like produce your own magical work, and just, you know, really be confident in doing it as well. And that's why I love that book. It's very good to boost that magical the magical identity of yourself as well, and kind of getting yourself into that sort of confident element of it, which I like about it. And again, I'm going to recommend Scott Cunningham, and I love this book so much. It has expanded my my knowledge on crystals. His book on crystal, gem, and metal magic. This book will cover a lot of crystal stuff. Like, honestly, you've got crystal folklore, you've got crystal properties, what spells you can be used in, how to use them in spells as well, and how to program them with an intention to work the magic you want them to work. And this is the 2nd edition, I think, and the second edition comes with a colour centerpiece as well, which I think is cool, because if some people aren't familiar with the crystals, they can look at that and they can identify them if they ever come across crystals and they're not sure what it is. And there's just so much information in here, and I love this book. It's just, honestly, it's a keeper book. The next book again is also by Scott Cunningham, and that is his Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. If you're like me and you forget correspondences of things sometimes, especially herbs, and you're doing your own spells and you want to make up your own incenses as well, this is brilliant for referencing that, and also learning about the herbs and the properties and what they can do. It's got the there's an index in here that tells you the folk names of herbs as well. So if you, for example, wolfsbane is also known as several other different things through different cultures, and if someone's talking about a herb and you're like, huh, what are they talking about? It'll explain that as well. It'll tell you, you know, the alternate names for herbs. Again, it's really helpful, this book. It's honestly a keeper book. If you're into herbs, this book's awesome. Now, the final book I'm going to recommend is perfect if you are sort of interested in kind of doing a course in witchcraft, but you can't exactly pay money to any teachers or anything. And this book covers so much. It's honestly an amazing read, and I had so much fun working with this book when I first read it. And that is The Complete Book of Witchcraft by Raymond Buckland. Now, what I love about this is that each chapter is a lesson. So at the end of each chapter, you get exam questions. I'm going to just show you, because I love it. I just love the fact that you can answer questions. Here you go, where I've answered the exam questions. Love that about this book. And it just covers so much. It covers history, divinity, gods and goddesses, divination, spell work, ritual framework, everything you could probably think of. It covers it. It's honestly like, there's a lot of, it goes into a lot of traditional things, like a lot of traditional beliefs of witchcraft. But again, if you're wanting to learn more and you want to just build your knowledge up, and you want to just, you know, go for something that's going to help you learn, because it's got the questions in it, test your knowledge as well, I recommend this. And it's a huge book as well. I won't lie to you, it's honestly like yeah, it's quite a big book. And it's nicknamed what's the name? Uncle Bucky's Big Blue Book. Again, Raymond Buckland, he's done several other books as well, so I recommend him. But those are just a few books that I would recommend to people if they're not sure what books to read and you're feeling a little bit kind of in the dark about it. Yeah, if you want any more book recommendations, give me a shout. Those are literally a small few of the amount of books I've got on the craft. I couldn't have fit like an entire bookshelf's worth into one video. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really hope this helps people. It helps you figure out, you know, what books you may not have heard of yet, and maybe you want to try and expand your library or something, and to expand your knowledge. I hope this has helped. Thank you so much for watching, and blessed be.